and the government. This government is rewriting history, and this government feels that the bank's nationalization was a political blunder. It was a mammoth political blunder. So this government they are rewriting history in many other ways also. We find that CBSE course has been altered, various chapters have been taken out. So everything that we consider as history, as sacrosanct, are losing their value. So this government has been very particular in attacking the public sector undertakings and public sector enterprises. That is why the announcements have come. And this mega merger was announced all of a sudden. We were expecting a merger, not that we were not expecting. We knew it would happen sometime in September, but it happened. But the way the merger has happened, it has left us shell shocked. Allahabad Bank being one of the oldest banks of the country, the first joint stock of the country, with a rich legacy, with a rich heritage. The name of Allahabad Bank has been deleted from the financial map of the country. So, but yet I find that All India Allahabad Bank Officers Association, I was hearing Comrade Anandji, the way they have been moving about, the way they have been conducting the meetings, the way the crescendo, the wonderful journal is brought out every month without fail. And I invariably read each and every word of it. It speaks volumes of the commitment and dedication of a committed organization. I'm certain after the merger has taken place, you must be finding it difficult to adjust. Every organization which has been acquired by another bank, they are having difficulty. The way Allahabad Bank Officer Association has always functioned, with your meetings, with your commitment, the grassroots level functioning, the cluster meetings, the way it happens across the country, the way you move about, the way you organize meetings, it's a different culture, I think, in Indian Bank. Indian Bank also have their own way of functioning. And it will be, as far as I know, that as of now, there has not been any, as far as the association, both the associations are concerned, you are moving in tandem. That is a very healthy sign. We are hearing some difficulty in some associations affiliated to All India Bank Officers Confederation. In PNB has worked out very smoothly how the entire thing, All India Punjab National Bank Officers Association and United Bank Officers Association, they have worked it out. But the fact remains that associations they can work out. But the way the banks have been merged, there will be large number of branch closures. Because of the COVID, the displacement maybe this year was not possible. But we are looking at a scenario, there will be displacements. Hundreds will be forced to resign. And this is not a healthy sign. At the same time, when we are implementing the entire schemes of the government, when we are the vehicles of economic growth and progress, of reaching out to the common people, yet when we find that the existence of public sector banks have been challenged by this very government, which is utilizing the bank for its own good, for bailing out the big corporates that we have mentioned in our details in our circular, how on one hand they are showing that they are concerned about the banks by recapitalizing. And the same amount is being taken away to bail out the corporates who are in distress. We find that Reliance is now a zero-debt company. Now, how can that be when both the brothers are owning thousands of crore, lakhs of crore to the public sector banking system? So this is a game that is being played, a very dangerous game, just to please the big corporates who are waiting to rewrite history, because they were owning the banks prior to 69, and into 2020 or maybe 1 or 2 years later, they want to re-own those banks and delete the name of all public sector banks. That is the roadmap ahead. It's happening in every sector, be it telecom, be it railway, be it coal, be it oil. Everywhere we find BPCL is attracting bidders from across the world. And they are going to sell off their family silver. They are selling off the family silver. Whatever belongs to the government, to the people. The people own the assets. And these assets are being sold to the crony capitalists. So that is how we combat it. Well, It is very, I personally take it as a failure of myself and the corporation to launch this movement ahead because we had no backers. There were no other political backers who, even in Kolkata, when we had opposed the chief minister, she immediately wrote a letter that why the two headquarters banks would be shifted, would be merged. But after that, there was no movement. There was a fleeting reference in a video press conference a few days back when the chief minister of West Bengal said they have, without our consent, they have shifted the headquarters of the Allahabad Bank to Chennai. But that's hardly any statement of intent. No political will was there to fight this attack on the public sector enterprises. And we are also loosely connected. Each sector is under attack. Somehow we have not been able to forge a bonding between all the sectors that are under attack. We have formed All India Public Sector and Central Government Officers Confederation, but unfortunately, Central Government Officer Association cannot be a part of any trade union. So that way, we could not function under that umbrella. But then each sector is under attack, and come what way, we have to resist the next threat of attack, which is next level of attack, which is coming surely in the form of privatization. Already, the economic advisor and some others are floating media is afresh about with the news of privatization of some public sector banks. But as of now, there is no announcement from the ministry or the FM about the privatization. But this is definitely on the cards. We cannot rule it out. So let us be prepared that we have, of course, filed a case in Supreme Court also, Delhi High Court also. But due to the COVID situation, it never got heard. The case is still pending. We have challenged the very basic laws. We have challenged the laws, the tenets on which the bank nationalization, this merger amalgamation was done, flouting the norms of bank nationalization, where we did not have any representative in the bank's boards. That case is pending. The government is not willing to let in any officer director into the board of the bank. We have Comrade G.D. Nawab, who was a former central board director in State Bank of India. And during his time, he had given so many notes of dissent in various board meetings because the decisions had, because of our presence in the board, we were privy to so many information. But such information we are not getting to hear, which is being in a very clandestine manner. The board meetings are held so that the crucial HR policy decisions are taken where there are no representative of the bank. So on this note, I really congratulate All India Allahabad Bank Officer Association for their continuous movement, despite, the merger, even before the merger, the way Allahabad Bank Officer Association has functioned, that merger or no merger, we will hold our head high, we'll fight for our self-esteem, we'll fight to espouse the cause of the officers, and that is a huge vision. It is a colossal vision of a very vibrant and a very dominant association that when you had given a call to boycott the 1 month, appeal to the members to boycott the 1 month dole that was given in lieu of the bipartite and pending bipartite set 1 month of basic and BA. And I'm really glad that almost 50% of the officers had rejected the entire this lollipop that was offered by IBA all of a sudden. Now, I'll just wind up my address with the bipartite issue. The bipartite, after almost 3 months, it is slated to be heard on 22nd of July. Now, when this COVID situation started, we were almost, it had reached a very crucial stage. But after the COVID pandemic started, and slowly it involved, we had absolutely no idea what it could be like. We all expected the lockdown to last only for 10 days or 7 days. But the way the things are shaping up, the way every day the exponential growth of numbers of people getting infected, bankers getting infected almost every day, we are hearing a very sad news of some comrades, death of some comrades in some part of the country. In this very despondent situation, when the government had cut the MP salary by 30%, frozen DA of central government, frozen DA of pensioners of central government, People thought that bipartite must be in cold storage. But we kept our parlays. We tried to. And ultimately, this meeting is going to be held on 22nd. Now, what we are very seriously concerned, what will be the offer like? Whether they'll be holding the offer of 15%, and the last time they offered a load of 2%, which we rejected. We had calculated, AIBUC we had undertaken a study. We had involved a very senior actuary from Kolkata, the Bhudev Chatterjee and Company, to do our calculation, and we found out, we had challenged whatever quantum IB had offered, when they had offered an increase of 10 or 12%. We had calculated that actually it was translating into an offer of 15% with 4% load. Now, with that figure in our hand, we could boldly challenge IBA in presence of State Bank Chairman, who is IBA Chairman, when we went for the 2-day strike, that, sir, whatever you are offering is totally wrong. Our calculation suggests that it is actually an offer of 15% with 4% load. But the talks had broken on that. We went for a 2-day strike. But after that, IBA had shared their figures. I had personally visited the actuary of IBA and held a discussion. I had asked him, on which factor are you calculating? He could not satisfy me. He said that every actuary has his own constant. The way I'll just briefly say, the superannuation benefits that has been calculated from the Nadab is here, he knows. In 2012 and 2017, the impact of the wage revision, the load factor on superannuation, there is a constant figure taken. A figure has been taken this year also. So we challenged the IBA saying that in 2008, there were not a single officer or employee who were covered under NPS. In 2012, there were hardly 5 to 10%. Now in 2017, there is almost 50% of our officers and employees who are under NPS. So the impact of superannuation cannot be the same because they are not entitled for pension. So this constant factor, we are challenging the constant factor. Then the IBA actuary, he faltered. Then I asked him whether this constant factor varies from actuary to actuary or is it a constant among all actuaries. Then he said each actuary has his own constant. It is taken as the bond discount value and a lot of other things. So our actuary calculated the constant factor to something else, the bond discount rate to be something else, and based on that we could challenge. So let us hope on 22nd of July, I do not know what the offer will be like, but indications are that they want to settle the financial part of it, leaving all other options open, including the retirees issue, including the Saturday off, and including a lot of other non-financial issues. So on that note, we are meeting, but how we will meet, that is another enigma, because from Calcutta travel is banned. Up to 31st of July, no flights will go to Delhi, Chennai, Ahmedabad, Mumbai or Pune. So in Calcutta, we have 3 UFU representatives. Myself, General Secretary of Beti, President of AIBA. So we have written a letter to UFU convener yesterday night stating that we welcome the meeting, but physically it may not be possible to participate. We would like to join through video conference. So that is a letter we have written. I think many other constituents of UFU have written in similar lines. I'm here to have a discussion with convener of UFU. But let us assume that a meeting will be held on 22nd of July. Let us hope, even in this gloomy, dismal situation, whatever we can achieve without yielding any ground of whatever has been reached in March, let us see if we can bring some smiles to our fraternity. Of course, the situation is different. At this point of time, due to the COVID, we cannot even hold demonstrations and go for agitation or strikes or hold large gatherings or meetings. Our AIBC triennial has been deferred. Many other affiliates were having their triennial conferences. Those who are under cloud. We do not really know when will be able to hold even a meeting of over 20 people. Virtual meetings will be the order of the day, but those meetings have no a legal validity in the Trade Union Act or in our own bylaws. So somewhere we have to once again look at afresh and tweak our bylaws, incorporate new get this legal standing of virtual meetings to be sanctity. So on that note, let us hope. If anyone has any questions, I'll be happy to. I do not know how much time we have because the meeting is held in a very critical juncture. We have so many issues to discuss. It's been a privilege to take part in your program, and I'm very, very glad that I'm addressing, although I cannot see in my mobile, I can see hardly Comrade Vishwada, Comrade Anandji, and a few others. But I am certain that everyone is hearing each and every word that is being discussed. You take part and send your suggestions, valid suggestions, because this any merger, there is so much of pain, so much of, because especially this the how the entities will be merged, the HR policies will be merged. That is a real pain, and both the leaders, both associations will have to sit and discuss. Incidentally, I was hearing that federation has been wiped out. I'm just happy to share in Oriental Bank of Commerce, after 40 years, we were able to float one unit in Kolkata. And there was hardly 100 members at the end of 31st of March. But we have been given to understand there has been a complete landslide in the northern parts of the country where people have joined en masse. They have switched their membership to All India Punjab National Bank Officers Association, and it's virtually a landslide in OBC. People are joining the fold of AIBOC, and we are emerging stronger. Association-wise, we will definitely emerge stronger, but then our fight, when our organization is gone, that blow we have to take and move on and carry this baggage. It will hurt us. Every step that we take, it will hurt us, it will pain us, that the name of Allahabad Bank will no longer be there. Maybe in days to come, when both associations will be merged, Allahabad Bank Officer Association, All India Allahabad Bank Officer Association will be, at some point of time, will be merged with Indian Bank Officer Association. But then we'll get a new entity, and that entity will be under the umbrella of All India Bank Officers Confederation. That is only the saving grace and solace, that we will be under the one umbrella, the largest apex body of the Officer Association, of over 320,000 members, and going stronger with every passing day. And we will continue to fight, regardless of the outcome. We will continue to fight. On that note, on this very auspicious and pious occasion of the 51st anniversary of the historic bank nationalization, I salute each and every comrade, and I once again place on record my deepest appreciation to the tremendous support that I have received from All India Allahabad Bank Officer Association throughout my journey of the last 2 years. I am really thankful to Comrade Vishwada and Comrade Anandji for providing support at each and every step that I have taken, and I thank each and every one. Thank you, comrades.
Comrade Samita, you have another present job today. That our Tamil Nadu unit, they have conducted online drawing competition.
Yes, I remember.
That I have sent you. You have announced the winners. The list I have sent you in the WhatsApp.
Let me check. Shall I announce the winners?
Yes.
Yes. You are the official announcer of the winners.
Winners.
Meantime, I just want to add something. Comrade Shoma, from very close, we have seen the way he had thought. Fought against this merger process. At every time, every occasion when we organized any kind of program against merger, Shomo immediately consented to join that thing, and he came to all our programs. So we know the sincerity that was it was very much evident from his side, and we feel the pain that he had been experiencing so far. There were no support. He was actually telling the whole thing that there was no support from neither of the political parties nor from any other trade union fraternity also. So it was virtually a single fight by the lunar flight from this AIBOC, and Comrade Shomu being the commander of that thing. We salute him for this, for his endeavors, and for this bipartite settlement also. We wish that under his able leadership, something will be achieved at this very critical time, and we are very hopeful and wish all the best for the bipartite final bipartite settlement, or we don't know whether it is final or something, semi-final or quarter-final, whatever it is. But we wish all the best for this 22nd settlement program. And thank you, comrades. But first, you have to, before leaving, you'll have to declare our winner. So over to Comrade Shomo.
Okay, can you hear me?
Yes.
Acha, I first congratulate that online drawing competition. This is another innovative idea.
Acha, Comrade Shomo, you are not visible, boss. Please
okay.
see
Actually,
that.
I'm seeing the WhatsApp. That is why maybe.
Oh, acha. Yes.
Because
Okay.
Anandji has sent me this WhatsApp, so I have
List of.
So I'll just announce, then I'll get back.
Yes.
So once again, I congratulate All India Allowed Bank Officer Association. That is another feather to your cap by conducting an online drawing competition, which is another such a progressive idea in sync with the times.
Yes.
And that too dedicated to the legend of Bank Trade Union Movement, Comrade R.N. Godbole.
Yes.
Comrade R.N. Godbole Memorial Online Drawing Competition. I really, once again, appreciate each and every comrade who have taken part. And there have been several categories. And the categories also, the way it has been categorized, that also it speaks volumes about the thinking thought process. Varnam, history and heritage. The winners, Comrade Anukriti Arun, Comrade Bhagat Singh, Comrade Mugdha Changmai, Comrade Ankita Chakravarti, Comrade Sakshi Jaiswal, Comrade La Harini.
Harini.
Acha.
Harini.
So congratulations to all of you. I do not know, how you have done it, but it's wonderful. The way online I can see the pictures, images also. How the online, I do not know. Whether you have scanned the paintings or you have drawn, I do not know. But it's wonderful, the way it has been done. And then the next, I think, is the Varnam Women, an epitome of success. The winners are Comrade L. Amutha, if I'm not mistaken, Comrade Moumika Das, Comrade Ramkrishna Saran, Comrade Akanksha Roy, Comrade Prosenjit Kumar Das, Comrade Lipika P. Boyle. Congratulations to all the winners of this particular category. You really deserve kudos for such visual images, wonderful visual images that I am seeing on my mobile. Next, the category is the essence of nature. The winners are Comrade Madhulika Anand, Comrade Babita Peju, Comrade Surajit Chanda, Comrade Anju Saini, Comrade Sunanda Bhomik, Comrade Sapna Rani. Once again, essence of nature, the way you have depicted the images, various images that I'm seeing, it's wonderful. It's a visual treat. It's a treat for the eyes. Wonderfully done. Congratulations to all the winners. I am certain all the winners are online. And there are two special prizes. I think one is the best effort. I think based on the number of likes, or you have done an online poll or what, I do not know. But I can see two special prizes being given by the association. One goes to Comrade Pooja Agarwal, and the most likes, 860 likes, have gone for the contribution of Comrade Rajalakshmi. So congratulations to all of you for this wonderful exhibition that I've just witnessed. I've just gone through all the sketches, all the drawings. It has been all are. You can compete with any professional. Some of the images I've seen, it is equivalent to any professional artist. So we have so much of talent in this fine arts, be it painting, be it singing, be it dancing, be it creative writing. Our members are flooded, inundated with talent, and this is an expression in these difficult times when I think pursuing the finer arts. I know 2 or 3 members who regularly, when they come back after a hard day's work, they spend at least 1 hour of time by just drawing to vent out their frustration to the paint and brush. So that is a very, very healthy habit also. Keep pursuing all your finer instincts, all your passions, so that at the end of the day, we will enrich ourselves and we can look forward to the next day with more renewed vigor and enthusiasm. Thank you once again, the organizers for bonding, for organizing this talent hunt, this online painting or drawing exhibition. Thank you, Comrade Vishwadhar.
Comrade Shomo, we are actually, there will be another online singing competition also. Comrade Anand will tell you the details.
Okay.
And this is going to take place very shortly. And
Ragam.
that is Ragam.
Ragam. Yes. Fantastic. Aptly titled. So, what in our bank, State Bank recently had it, where people were asked to record songs without using any software. Like there's I think a Star Master or something. Music maker.
Star Maker, yes.
Star Maker
or something.
Star Maker or something.
Star Maker.
Without using any app, if you record some song for 2 or 3 minutes and then get it judged, and then the final shortlisted candidates can come on live on program. They can present those songs.
Yes.
So that is a wonderful idea, Comrade Anand.
Now, in fact, I would like to share with Comrade Nadaf and Comrade Someda also. This event was organized by our Tamil Nadu and Kerala State Unit. See, every year they are organizing one badminton tournament in the name of Comrade Arvind Godbole. Because of this lockdown this year, they could not go ahead with the badminton tournament. So they alternatively suggested this drawing competition. In fact, which we wanted at the time of our women's conclave on March 8th, we could not do it. So that Comrade Balaji and Suresh, the state president, state secretary, both are here. They deserve all the applause actually, because they have taken all the pains, and throughout the country people responded, and out of 113, 82 are women, 81 are women actually. Girls have
Thank you.
Fantastic.
in this regard. Right, thank you, Someda. And I
Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
we should hear from Nadaf also. Nadaf, you should spare some time.
Yeah, anytime. Comrade Nadaf ji is here. It's always a pleasure to hear him.
Yes, definitely.
Yes.
Thank you.
I cannot miss such opportunity.
Comrade Nadaf, kindly join.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, Comrade Vishwaranjan, President of the All India Allahabad Bank Officers Association, Comrade Anand Rao, your beloved General Secretary, and Comrade Soumya, General Secretary of the AIGOC, and the members of the Guru Committee who have come to attend this meeting, virtual meeting. Soumya has already explained that these virtual meetings are recognized or not. I think why not today the government are conducting their the meetings, ministers' meetings, etc., and taking so many decisions virtually. But only maybe a technical problem that we may have to amend our bylaw. Nevertheless, it is a good trend that our associations have also started meeting virtually. Strikes should not be virtually. Of course, strike should be a physical one, which in this lockdown it is not possible to declare. At the outset, let me congratulate each one of you and also the comrades of the nationalized banks on this 51st Bank Nationalization Day. My congratulations to all those who have won the competition conducted by All India Allahabad Officers Association on various fields. That is a drawing. I think these people are efficient to draw the roadmap of the associations also. Now that some people have won this singing and dancing, but they should dance to the tune of the associations. And one good thing that I happy to listen from Andhra is that all these competitions they are conducting from beginning in the name of Comrade R.N. Godbole. 2 days back on 17th July, I just shared my joyous moment with a photo of Comrade late R.N. Godbole on the occasion of my election as the All India State Bank Officers Federation on 17th July 2006. The Facebook also just come. Some of the friends called me and asked me, very sorry to say that, who is R.N. Godbole? Now we have come to that stage. That history has to be told and shared with the, especially new generation. Godbole retired in 95, almost more than 15 years back. Naturally, those who have joined the banking industry after that may not be knowing. Here is a bank, that is All India Allahabad Bank Officers Association, which is conducting so many activities in the name of Comrade R.N. Godbole. In fact, I have heard Anand Rao, who used to meet Comrade Godbole when he was in Patna, in his initial stage, when he entered the association activity. I think he has not forgotten. Gratitude must be there. Yesterday somebody wrote to me from Karnataka, oh, at least you remember R.N. Godbole. I told him that the greatest sin in this world is ungratefulness. There is no other sin, papam, than ungratefulness, and I cannot belong to that category. Because we have to remember those who have helped us. We have to remember those who have supported us, not only individually, but organizationally also. This may be an occasion to remember our late Prime Minister Indira Gandhi, who nationalized the 14 commercial banks on the same day in 1969, followed by another 6 in 1980, 1st April. Today we are in a state of preserving this. Forget about adding some more. Number has come down drastically. Now we are also listening or hearing from the media that this mighty government is now thinking of privatizing the public sector banks. That is the U-turn. That some of the banks they have identified. Don't know what is the credibility of this information. Like IOB, Bank of Maharashtra, Punjab and Sindh. And this government is known for taking a decision overnight. Maybe like demonetization, it came as a surgical strike, even lockdown. I don't know, one fine night, not morning, one fine night an announcement will be there that these banks have been privatized. We must be ready to face it because they are not giving a much time to the general public as well as to the organizations to react or respond. Comrade Soumya is leading the AIBOC in a very crucial time. At one side, there is a threat of privatization of public sector banks. The other side, the serving employees and officers are looking at him for the best, the bipartite settlement. The retired people are looking at him that some settlement may take place during this time. But I don't know, on 22nd July, if the virtual meeting is conducted, a physical meeting may not be possible, because when I read the notice itself, I thought that how these people will reach Mumbai, and if they reach Mumbai, whether they will be quarantined for 7 days or 14 days, and where from they will conduct the meeting. I don't know. This is a common sense which is not common nowadays. That should have been thought before sending the notice for the physical meeting. Though 3-4 leaders might have written, but I feel that EFP should have reacted immediately and told them that how is it possible to conduct the meeting. Rather, he should have invited the IBA people to come to Calcutta and conduct the meeting. Then they would have known that is it practicable or not. Challenges are here today. Tomorrow they may say that we call the meeting, but they have not come. It is only to get one more date in their history that we have conducted so many meetings. Soumya has already said that he has visited the actuaries personally and discussed with them as far as the salary and cost is concerned, as far as the superannuation cost is concerned. I am not surprised because IBA is known for making such gimmicks. When and second option and pension issue was also there, you are all aware, seniors, that the IBA's figure of the cost at that time was around 28,000 crores. Whereas when we got, United Forum of Banking has got the figure, some more actuary, the present he is there in the Calcutta, our figure was 4,700 crores. Where is the 4,700 crores? Where is the 28,000 crores? Rightly said by Soumya, different actuaries will calculate differently. Method may be different. That will not make a huge difference. What makes a huge difference is what components you put to them, what order you put them. That makes a difference. Therefore, it is necessary that we have verified what are the figures the IBA has given to the actuaries, number of employees eligible, on number of employees scale wise, grade wise. So all these things have to be rechecked because the IBA is known for committing such mistakes. So when we pointed out this, I think then the person who was involved in that, Shankar Narayanan, who was from the ex-Syndicate Bank employee, we shared with him and then corrected, and finally actuary figure from two actuaries was hardly 6,200. So therefore homework is necessary today. Homework must be there. Otherwise, I don't think we cannot match to the IBA's that giving a figures which that I think they want to discourage us to even demand. One thing I shared with Comrade Soumya also, that it is high time that we have to settle the bipartite, because nowadays we are listening that government is thinking of the wage reduction in pension. I don't know. All those things they may reduce except the allowances, etc., works to the MPs and MLAs and ministers. All other things they may reduce it. This disease should not enter into our bipartite settlement also. I am hopeful that they may not go back on the 15% increase they have offered last time. I feel that they may make improvement in the load factor, but we should ensure that the load factor must be improved. And if they say that remaining issues you have to discuss later means the only next bipartite if it takes place. Therefore, some deadline must be given. Our comrades retired or serving both have become, I think, they have reached the point where that waiting period is already over. So great responsibility lies on the AIBOC within the UFU, though this is the responsibility of United Forum of Bank Unions. But as far as the officers are concerned, we look at Soumya, who told that the four other officers organizations are also together in demanding improvements to that. And for the All India Allahabad Bank Officers Association, I don't want to appreciate because all other people say that it is an artificial appreciation. No, I have involved in their activities from the beginning. Last one year, we have conducted number of cadre development programs also. And with Anand Rao, I think I know him from the beginning. If I say that the culture of the All India Allahabad Bank Officers Association in the organization is similar to that of the All India State Bank Officers Federation, because for both Comrade R.N. Godbola is the foundation. They are following his teachings, his principles, which in the State Bank of All India State Bank Officers Federation we are following. A militant leadership, a militant membership, a leadership which early erstwhile, the leadership who have sacrificed even their service to the organization. Same is the case with the State Bank organization also. Therefore, nothing is impossible. Let us not be cowed down by such threats but we must be ready. We used to say that earlier. People who sweat more during the peace time will bleed less in the war time. But as far as our organizations are concerned, always we are in the war time. Where is the peace time? I think we have to prepare our comrades, especially new generation of our people who have joined the banking industry in the organization, that they should know the importance of the public sector banks. I know that Comrade Anandrav has prepared a beautiful note which he supplies during our career development programs, and he also takes a session that what is this bank nationalization, why is this bank nationalization, what are the benefits which the common man and also the society got out of this bankization, if this is a privatization or even the merger of the national bank, how it is going to affect the common man. Beautifully, he has brought out on write-up, which he says that now that Soumya is telling that government is in the mood of rewriting the history. Yes, the government's agenda is not only to rewrite the history, but also to rewrite the Constitution of India also. During emergency, of course, barring that emergency, the Indira Gandhi must be remembered by the national banks because fervently that nationalization took place. That through the 42nd Amendment, we are successful in adding secular and social in the preamble of the Constitution. Today there is a sinister move that to remove these two words from the preamble itself, social and secular, and then to ease the privatization or the dictatorship. Therefore, we have to express, agitate. I know that we have a practical problem that we cannot now physically agitate, cannot conduct the strikes also. Nowadays, even if you conduct the strikes, other than the indefinite strike, it is not going to make any effect on the government or even public also. So we have to change our strategy to respond or react to the government policy on bank unions, banking industry. We have to see what has to be done. You know that this privatization threat is not today. This threat is there in the last 20-25 years. When Comrade Shanti Ranjan Sen Gupta was the General Secretary of the AIBOC, at that time only a bill was placed before the Parliament that privatization of the public sector banks. But for the then leadership, AIBOC leadership, taking a immediate reaction, jumping into the action, and writing to all the MPs, all 530 MPs, irrespective of the party they belong, and bringing to their notice that how it is a dangerous step to privatize the public sector banks. That has split, and the bill was kept pending. Of course, we did not withdraw the bill because of the ego problem. The bill was kept pending. Now I think that bill is again trying to show the ugly face. Today, because of the majority in the parliament, any bill you bring will get passed. Therefore, we must be ready that this against the privatization. Let us not wait up to the night on which our Honorable Prime Minister will come and announce that so many banks have been privatized from 1st April like that. Instead of waiting for that night, let us wake up and start now from today itself that to write to the MPs. Don't say that people will not respond. There are people, some educated, some literate people are there in the government also. Therefore, we have to write to them, tell them that if you privatize, don't privatize in the public sector banks. Who will carry out the government plan? Your Jandan, demonetization, all those things, immediately you remember the banking, we are back to public sector banks. Take out the statistics, how the private sector banks have come to the rescue of the government policy and how the public sector banks have done. Start working from morning to evening, 12 hours, 14 hours, without any extra benefits, how they work. Today also, in the lockdown period, in the corona, COVID-19, it is the public sector banks who are working And now that discrimination is there, that they are not treating the bank officers and employees as the warriors. They feel that it is your duty to do it. But whereas if the other people do it, they are warriors. And there is a discrimination always from the beginning. They are much against that. Somebody asked me that why government is always it is a tough ear to the problems of the public sector bank. But when it comes to the issue of the implementation of their program, the first thing is that it is the bank. If I say that more than 80 to 90% of the plans, even the so-called that the plan which has been now said that about 20 lakh crores or something like that, 80 to 85% of the success depends upon the public sector bank. Whether the private sector banks will come to their rescue? No. Even from the beginning, I should know that the government, whichever government it is, whether the Congress government or BJP government, they will always be towards this corporate, that they always that they treat them as their few-word boys, starting from the Ramesh Gilli. I don't know if people are knowing or not. Ramesh Gilli was the first CEO of the Global Trust Bank. I used to call it as the Global Mistrust Bank. And Manmohan Singh, who opened the bank in Hyderabad, declared that the private sector banks are going to take care of who took care of the bank. Forget about that. Today, so-called Yes Bank. I used to say that so many banks have come like Yes Bank, No Bank. Now Yes Bank has become No Bank. Who has rescued them? And when ICICI Bank, about 15 years back, when it was on the run in the Ahmedabad ATM, there was a queue before the ICICI Bank. There was no cash in the ATMs of the ICICI Bank. Mr. Kamath, who made a statement during 2006 that he is going to take over the State Bank of India shortly. He was not available on that day, but then chairman, at the direction of the government, came to the rescue of the ICICI Bank. It is the State Bank of India who saved the ICICI Bank. It is the State Bank of India now who saved the Yes Bank also, not only financially, but by sending one official, the executive from the State Bank of India to compete to the State Bank of India. I think it happens only in the banking industry. Whether any country will send its soldiers to the other country to fight against us. Tomorrow, if there is any fight, any war between China and India, if you feel that China's soldiers are incapable of fighting us, whether we will depute some soldiers towards that side to fight us. But it is happening in banking industry. The State Bank of India is always utilized, rather misutilized by the government of India to create its own competitors, to create its own enemies. And that is an example. Everyone knows that. An efficient executive was deputed and created our own competitors. I don't know what is the policy of the government, that they are always for the private banks, though they cannot get a single benefit out of the private bank when it comes to the question of the country as a whole to implement their policies. Therefore, these are the simple logic. It does not require any experts to come into the present MPs and present people who are in the government. I don't know why even the state like the Calcutta, who have not taken the issue of merger to the logical end, that the state like our Kerala, even states like our Karnataka also, they will wake up and make only an unwilling statement saying that we oppose mergers. So what happened today? The mergers are there. Mergers is there. Unless we educate the state governments also, unless we educate the government, that is the members of parliament also, our role will not become easy. You know that our own limitations are there. How long we can fight? Even our classes people also question us. Now we fight for our salary and allowance, not for these things. Because the thinking at their level is different, thinking at the leadership level is different, thinking at our organization is different. We have to balance all these things. Nowadays, it is not that easy to manage any organization in the banking industry. even there is a competition for the membership. I heard that Anand Rao is telling that the bank management are going to close the that membership. How they can close the membership? It is the association who can decide whether they want to enroll somebody or not. At the most maximum, they may say that they will not give the check-off facility, which also they cannot say because the government of India directed that all the registered trade unions must get the check-off facility. I don't know, but as long as we go on accepting their, they go on doing it. There must be a reaction, a sincere reaction, a strong reaction for all this that is what is that the field of the government and the policies of the government and even our management. I know that today you have all joined to conduct your virtual meeting. You may have so many issues to discuss, further discuss, but thankful for the leadership of the All India Allahabad Bank Association from the beginning that they are giving me an opportunity to be with you, that share my views and listen to you, to listen to Comrade Oman and also to Comrade Anand Rao. I know that you have a efficient leadership. Those who all come from, those who are all joined throughout the country, will definitely throw a light on not only our bipartite, but also survival is the most important. If somebody is cutting the root of the tree, when we are only fighting for the fruits of the tree on one side, and on another side, a machinery is there which is uprooting in the tree, at that time, what should be our priority? Priority is not to pluck the fruits. Priority is to save the tree. The priority is to prevent people who are uprooting the tree. That is the tree called public sector. I think I have taken much of the time, your valuable time today. I'm very much thankful to the leadership for having given me an opportunity to share my one or two thoughts with you. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Comrade.
Comrade Vishwanath, just one suggestion. I was remembering all the wonderful online pictures. Just one suggestion to all the members present today. Can you make? There are so many talented people who can make documentary films.
Yes.
Can you make? Can you announce something? 1 minute clip or 1.5 minute clip from the members on the importance of public sector banks.
Right. It's very valuable. Very
so that we
striking
can
thing.
make it viral.